In the heart of a bustling city, nestled between the skyscrapers and townhouses, there lies a quaint little park. This park, full of towering trees and vibrant flowers, is a sanctuary for all sorts of creatures. And among these creatures, there's a special one, a squirrel. But not just any squirrel. This squirrel is named Oliver, and Oliver is no ordinary squirrel, for he has a tail that's as intriguing as it is inspiring. Oliver, with his bushy tail and bright eyes, always had a knack for adventure. Every day, he'd scamper up trees, leap from branch to branch, and burrow into the ground, always in search of something new and exciting. But what made Oliver truly unique was his dream to fly. Now you might wonder, how could a squirrel possibly fly? And you wouldn't be wrong to ask. But Oliver, with his heart full of hope and determination, never let this question deter him. Instead, he started observing the birds in the park, watching as they soared high above the trees, their wings spread wide against the backdrop of the azure sky. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Oliver spent countless hours studying the birds, their flight patterns, their wing movements, everything. He even tried to mimic them, jumping off low branches and flapping his tiny arms, but to no avail. Yet, he didn't give up. He knew that if he wanted to fly, he had to think outside the box. So, Oliver began collecting feathers. Feathers that the birds had shed, feathers that were as light as air and as soft as silk. He gathered them one by one until he had enough to construct his very own set of wings. With a little bit of ingenuity and a whole lot of perseverance, Oliver managed to create a pair of wings that were as beautiful as they were functional. The day finally came when Oliver was ready to test his wings. With the wind in his fur and a sparkle in his eyes, he climbed to the highest branch of the tallest tree in the park. He could see the entire city from up there, the buildings, the people, the cars. It was a sight to behold. He took a deep breath, spread his wings wide, and jumped. And for a moment, just a fleeting moment, Oliver was flying. He was soaring high above the park, the wind rustling through his fur, the sun warming his face. He could see the world from a whole new perspective, and it was truly magnificent. But then, gravity took hold, and Oliver started to descend. He flapped his wings as hard as he could, but it wasn't enough. He was falling and fast. But just when he thought it was the end, a gust of wind swept him up and carried him safely back to the ground. Oliver might not have flown for long, but he did fly. He achieved his dream, if only for a moment, and that moment, however brief, was enough for him. Because Oliver wasn't just a squirrel anymore. He was a squirrel who had dared to dream, a squirrel who had dared to fly. And so, the tale of Oliver, the flying squirrel, became a legend in the park. A tale of courage, of perseverance, of daring to dream the impossible. A tale that reminds us all that no dream is too big, no challenge too great, if we have the courage to pursue them with all our heart.